Ladies and gentlemen, you can possess vast knowledge, extraordinary talent, and impressive ambition. But if your personality repels instead of attracts, you'll watch doors close quietly before you even knock. Developing a pleasing personality isn't about charm or flattery. It's about building character that draws people in, naturally, effortlessly. Your smile is the first signal of who you are. Your handshake, the silent declaration of your confidence. The way you listen, genuinely and without interruption, tells others they matter. And when you make others feel valued, you become valuable. Speak with conviction, not arrogance. Correct without criticizing. Command without controlling. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Control your temper. Be quick to praise, slow to judge. These habits create harmony, and harmony draws opportunity. Personality is influence. It determines your relationships, your network, your leadership. Cultivate it deliberately. Sharpen it daily. Because when your personality pleases, your world responds. And the world always reflects who you are. Make sure it's someone worth reflecting. Before a single word escapes your lips, before you've had the chance to present your ideas, credentials, or qualifications, your personality has already spoken for you. It has already introduced you, made an impression, and set the tone for how others will respond to you. This is why developing a pleasing personality is not just a desirable trait. It's a strategic necessity. A pleasing personality is not something loud or dramatic. It doesn't shout for attention. Instead, it operates like a silent ambassador. It works for you without being seen, softening hearts, opening minds, and preparing the ground for whatever message you wish to deliver. Whether you're walking into a room for a job interview, stepping on stage to deliver a presentation, or simply meeting someone for the first time, your personality is already shaping the outcome. Think about the people you admire, not just for their accomplishments, but for the way they make you feel. There's something magnetic about them, isn't there? They may not be the loudest in the room or the most extroverted, but they carry an ease, a warmth, and a quiet confidence that invites connection. That is the essence of a pleasing personality. It puts others at ease. It reduces friction. It attracts cooperation, goodwill, and respect. One of the greatest misconceptions is that personality is fixed, something you're either born with or not. That's not true. A pleasing personality can be developed. In fact, it must be developed intentionally, just like any other skill. The first step is self-awareness, understanding how you come across to others. What is the emotional climate you create when you enter a room? Do people feel encouraged or dismissed? Do they feel respected or overlooked? From that awareness, you move into action. You begin to polish the elements that influence your presence, your tone of voice, your posture, your expressions, your manners. You learn to smile sincerely, not as a tactic but as a reflection of inner calm and goodwill. You practice patience in conversation, allowing others to feel heard. You control your temper, recognizing that no one enjoys the company of someone unpredictable or quick to anger. You build integrity in your words and actions because trust is the foundation of likability. More importantly, a pleasing personality is not just about how you behave in public. It's about who you are when no one is watching. Authenticity is key. Pretending to be kind when your heart is full of resentment doesn't last long. People sense the difference. That's why inner development, strengthening your character, healing insecurities, managing ego, is inseparable from personality growth. Your silent ambassador also affects your opportunities. People like to do business with those they enjoy being around. Colleagues are more likely to support someone who makes them feel respected. Employers are drawn to candidates who demonstrate emotional intelligence and team spirit. Even in personal relationships, a pleasing personality builds deeper, longer-lasting bonds. It creates a ripple effect. What you give, you receive. The energy you project shapes the energy you attract. Now, let's be clear. A pleasing personality is not about being a people pleaser. It does not mean compromising your values, diluting your truth, or seeking approval. On the contrary, it's about becoming someone so grounded, so respectful, and so balanced that people naturally want to be in your presence. You're not trying to impress. You're simply being your best self, and that best self becomes your greatest influence. In every room you enter, in every conversation you engage in, your personality will speak before you do. You have the power to decide what it says. Will it convey openness, warmth, and confidence? Or will it whisper insecurity, disinterest, or tension? That choice belongs to you. And once you choose to develop a personality that pleases, doors will open, often without you having to ask. Because long before anyone evaluates your resume, your credentials, or your ideas, they've already judged your presence. And your presence, shaped by your personality, will either open the door or quietly close it. Let your personality be your strongest introduction, your most loyal advocate, and your silent ambassador to success. When people think of communication, they often assume that the most important element is the words themselves. What you say, the message, the logic, the facts. But the truth is far deeper and far more subtle, because long before someone absorbs your words, they absorb your energy, they read your tone, they register your expression, they feel your attitude. These three elements, tone, expression, and attitude, are more powerful than any carefully chosen sentence. They are the vehicles through which your message either lands with impact or falls flat. You could be speaking absolute truth, delivering helpful advice, or even offering encouragement. But if your tone carries sarcasm, condescension, or coldness, the message will be lost. The person on the receiving end won't remember what you said. They'll remember how it made them feel. That emotional residue sticks longer than your words. It shapes perception, builds or breaks trust, and determines whether someone opens up to you or shuts down. Tone is the emotional filter of your voice. It's not just how loud or soft you speak. It's what's beneath the volume. The sincerity, the intent, the emotional color. You can say, "Thank you," in a way that melts someone's heart, or in a way that feels like an obligation. You can offer a suggestion with care, or with a hint of superiority that makes others defensive. Every interaction is guided by tone, often more than content. And because of that, mastering your tone becomes essential, not only for effective communication, but for developing relationships, trust, and influence. Next, consider expression. Your face tells a story before your mouth does. People are experts in reading micro-expressions, even if they don't realize it consciously. A frown, an eye roll, a raised eyebrow, or a slight smirk can completely change the meaning of your words. Think about it. Someone could say, "I'm happy to help," while their face says, "I don't really care." Which message do you think people believe? Always the one that matches the emotion, not the words. This is why self-awareness is key. You must learn to align your facial expressions with your true intention. When your expression is warm, open, and relaxed, people instinctively feel safer and more connected. Then there's your attitude, the invisible climate you bring into every room. Attitude is not just a mood, it's the overall outlook, energy, and mindset you carry. Are you hopeful or cynical? Are you curious or dismissive? Are you interested in others or only focused on yourself? Your attitude seeps into everything, even when you're silent. People feel it in the way you stand, the way you make eye contact, the energy you carry. If your attitude is filled with negativity, impatience, or arrogance, no amount of polished words will compensate for that. On the other hand, a positive, humble, and encouraging attitude creates a space where others feel uplifted and empowered. The powerful truth is this: you are always communicating, even when you're not talking. Your tone, your expression, and your attitude are constantly broadcasting messages. Whether those messages attract people or repel them is entirely up to you. You don't need perfect grammar, a huge vocabulary, or eloquent speeches to make an impact. You need emotional alignment. You need to mean what you say, and say it in a way that honors the other person's dignity. If you want people to listen to you, to respect you, to follow you, you must first make them feel understood and valued. That doesn't start with a brilliant sentence. It starts with how you show up. When your tone is kind, your expression is genuine, and your attitude is positive, you become a person others want to engage with. You become trustworthy. And trust is the foundation of all influence, leadership, and success. Remember, words may inform the mind, but tone, expression, and attitude touch the heart. And it is the heart, not the head, that decides who we listen to, who we believe, and who we follow. So choose your inner state wisely. Train yourself to speak with sincerity, to look with kindness, and to carry yourself with intention. Because the way you say something will always matter more than what you say. And that's the secret to becoming unforgettable. There is a subtle but powerful quality that draws people toward you, makes them want to talk to you, trust you, and be around you. It's not about being the most attractive, the most intelligent, or the most successful person in the room. It's about showing a genuine interest in others. That single trait makes you magnetic. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen, heard, and valued, not because of what they say, but because of how they make others feel about themselves. Most people walk through life focused on themselves, on their own problems, goals, achievements, and worries. So when someone shifts the attention off themselves and truly focuses on another person, it feels rare. It feels refreshing. It feels meaningful. That's why being genuinely interested in others isn't just good manners. It's a secret weapon in personal and professional success. It opens doors that talent alone cannot. Being genuinely interested doesn't mean pretending to care. It means making the conscious choice to be present with people. It means asking questions, not out of politeness, but out of sincere curiosity. It means listening, not waiting for your turn to talk, but actually hearing what the other person is saying and caring enough to ask them more. When someone talks about their dreams, their fears, their experiences, and you respond with attention and enthusiasm, you become a rare and valuable presence in their life. People remember how you make them feel. If you make them feel important, they'll never forget you. And this doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's the small things, a warm smile when they speak, remembering their name, recalling a detail they mentioned last week, or giving them your full attention when they're speaking instead of glancing at your phone. These simple habits show interest, and interest breeds connection. In business, genuine interest creates opportunities. Sales professionals who ask the right questions, who learn about their clients' lives, needs, and concerns are far more successful than those who only pitch products. Leaders who care about their team members as individuals, not just as job titles, inspire loyalty and performance. Entrepreneurs who connect with their audience on a personal level build communities, not just customer bases. No matter the field, showing interest builds influence. But this must come from the right place. If your interest is just a tactic, just a trick to manipulate or win favor, people will feel that. 2. Insincerity always reveals itself, even if you think you're hiding it well. That's why character is essential. You must work on yourself until kindness, empathy, and curiosity are not tools, but natural qualities you embody. When you become someone who genuinely wants others to succeed, who finds joy in their stories and passions, you will never run out of meaningful relationships. This principle applies in personal relationships as well. Romantic partners, friends, and family members thrive in an environment of mutual interest and attention. Too often, people feel invisible in their own homes, not because they're ignored, but because they're not truly seen. A sincere, "How was your day?" followed by engaged listening can mean more than a dozen empty compliments. Real interest nurtures real connection. Now more than ever, when people feel more distracted, more isolated, and more rushed, genuine attention is rare, and therefore, powerful. You don't need to impress people with grand achievements to be unforgettable. You need to give them the gift of your presence. Be curious about their world. Ask what they love, what they fear, what they dream about. And when they answer, truly listen. Not to reply, but to understand. There is something deeply human about being recognized and appreciated. If you can make that happen for others on a consistent basis, you'll never lack for friends, allies, or opportunities. Being genuinely interested in others isn't just about them. It also transforms you. It expands your perspective, deepens your empathy, and strengthens your ability to lead, serve, and succeed. In a world where everyone wants to be noticed, be the one who notices others. That alone will make you unforgettable. That alone will make you irresistible. There's a tool available to every human being, regardless of status, background, or education, that has the power to change how others respond to you, how they feel around you, and how they remember you. It's free, effortless, and immediate. That tool is your smile. A genuine, heartfelt smile is one of the most powerful and underrated assets you possess. It opens hearts. It softens tension. It invites connection. It signals friendliness and trust without a single word being spoken. When you smile, you do more than move facial muscles. You transmit emotion. You radiate warmth. A smile is a universal language that crosses cultures and backgrounds. It doesn't need translation. It says, "I'm safe. I'm open. I acknowledge you." In business, a smile can turn a cold encounter into a conversation. In personal relationships, it builds closeness. On the street, it can make someone's day. And inside of you, it creates a ripple effect of positivity that reflects in your posture, your voice, and your presence. Influence doesn't always come from power, wealth, or titles. Often, it comes from how you make others feel. People naturally want to follow, trust, and support those who make them feel good about themselves. A smile triggers that feeling. It relaxes the atmosphere and lowers the guard. It communicates confidence and empathy simultaneously. And the beautiful truth is, it costs you nothing, but it can buy you everything: goodwill, opportunity, loyalty, friendship. A sincere smile reflects your internal state. You cannot fake it for long. People can sense the difference between a plastic smile and a genuine one. That's why your smile must come from a place of authenticity, from a heart that is open, a mind that is grateful, and a soul that seeks connection rather than control. You don't need to be in a perfect mood to smile, but you do need to develop the habit of finding something to appreciate in every situation. Gratitude makes the smile real. Some may think smiling is weakness, that it makes you look soft, naive, or unserious. That's simply not true. Some of the strongest, most effective leaders in the world lead with grace, and their smile is part of their strength. Smiling doesn't mean you're not assertive. It means you're human. It means you know how to balance strength with kindness, conviction with warmth. That kind of balance makes you unforgettable. Smiling also affects you internally. Studies in neuroscience have shown that the act of smiling, even when you don't feel happy, can trick your brain into releasing dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. These chemicals reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance your overall sense of well-being. In other words, smiling not only influences others, it strengthens you. It boosts your emotional resilience. It shifts your mindset from defensive to proactive. Think about the people you admire. Do they scowl, frown, or carry a cloud of tension everywhere they go? Or do they walk into a room and lift its energy? Most likely they smile, they shine. They invite people in, rather than push them away. That magnetic presence begins with the simple act of smiling. It tells the world, I'm at ease with myself. I see you. I welcome you. The smiling also helps you in moments of difficulty. When you're under pressure, when things don't go your way, when the world feels heavy, your smile becomes a quiet act of courage. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing your state, choosing grace over gloom, choosing presence over panic. A smile in adversity sends a message not just to others, but to yourself. I can handle this. I'm still here. I won't let this moment steal my joy. If you want to build a pleasing personality, one that draws others toward you without force, begin with your smile. Make it a habit. Let it be sincere. Let it become part of your identity. Smile when you greet someone. Smile when you speak. Smile when you walk into a room. Not to impress, but to express. To express confidence, kindness, and calm strength. In a world that is often cold, fast, and distracted, your smile is a warm light, a human signal that says, you matter. Use it generously, because sometimes the smallest things create the greatest influence. And among all your tools, your smile just might be the most powerful of them all. There are moments in life when first impressions define the path ahead. Often, you won't have time to explain who you are, what you believe, or why you should be respected. In those first few seconds, your presence speaks for you. And two of the most powerful expressions of your character are your handshake and your eye contact. They may seem small, but they are loaded with meaning. A firm handshake says, I believe in myself. Direct eye contact says, I'm present, I'm honest, and I'm not afraid. Together, they form the unspoken language of confidence. When you shake someone's hand, you're doing more than exchanging a greeting. You're exchanging energy. A weak, lifeless handshake signals uncertainty or indifference. It tells the other person, I'm unsure of who I am or how I should show up. On the other hand, a firm, but not aggressive, handshake projects strength, clarity, and intention. It's a physical expression of personal power. It says, I take myself seriously, and you should too. That message, when received, creates instant respect. Eye contact is just as powerful. When you look someone in the eye, you connect with them beyond words. You show that you are not hiding, not distracted, and not intimidated. People instinctively trust those who look them in the eye while speaking. It gives the impression of truthfulness, self-assurance, and presence. In contrast, when someone avoids eye contact, it creates doubt. Even if they're speaking honestly, the eyes are the windows of your intent. Use them to show clarity, purpose, and engagement. Developing a strong handshake and confident eye contact doesn't require talent or intelligence. It requires awareness and practice. Too often, people overlook these details because they seem simple. But in simplicity lies power. You can change the course of a meeting, a conversation, or a relationship simply by how you enter it, how you carry yourself in that initial moment. Your body communicates far more than your words. People pick up on your cues before you ever speak, and those cues influence how they treat you from that point forward. Some people believe that being humble means appearing soft or passive, but humility and confidence are not opposites. They are partners. A confident person can be humble, and a humble person can still project strength. Your handshake and your eye contact should reflect that balance. You don't need to dominate. You need to stand tall in who you are, grounded and sincere. That kind of energy makes people pay attention, not because you demand it, but because you deserve it. Start practicing this in daily interactions. When you meet someone, whether it's in business, in your community, or in casual social settings, extend your hand with intention. Grip firmly, not forcefully, hold their gaze. Not with a stare, but with calm, steady focus. Smile with authenticity, say their name. These small choices create an immediate connection. They tell the other person that you're not just physically present. You're mentally and emotionally engaged. It's also worth noting that these skills help you even when you feel nervous. Everyone experiences self-doubt. Everyone has moments when they question their worth or feel uncertain about the outcome. But when you step forward with a strong handshake and look others in the eye, you send a message to your own mind. I've got this. Confidence isn't just about how others perceive you. It's about how you shape your internal state. The body influences the mind. When you move with certainty, speak with strength, and connect with people directly, your internal voice begins to align with that power. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about removing the layers of fear, hesitation, and insecurity that block the true you from shining through. You already have the greatness within you. What you need are the habits and signals that allow that greatness to be seen. Every time you reach out your hand and meet someone's eyes, you practice revealing that power, calm, strong, and unapologetically present. In life, people follow the energy they trust. They respect the presence that feels anchored, honest, and clear. So train yourself to show up that way every time. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And in time, your handshake and your eye contact won't just be gestures. They'll be symbols of who you've become. One of the greatest truths in life is this: people want to feel important. They want to feel like they matter, like their words are heard, and their presence is appreciated. In a world where attention is scattered and distractions are constant, one of the most powerful ways to build a pleasing personality is to become genuinely interested in other people. Not just pretending to listen, not waiting for your turn to speak, but truly, deeply caring about what others say, what they feel, and who they are. When you develop the habit of being interested rather than trying to be interesting, everything changes. Conversations become smoother. Connections grow faster. People open up in your presence. They begin to feel like you're someone different, someone they want to be around, someone they trust, someone they remember. Because truthfully, we're all drawn to those who make us feel seen. We gravitate toward those who ask questions about our lives, who listen without interrupting, who follow up and remember small details. Being genuinely interested requires you to shift your focus outward. Too many people enter relationships thinking, "What can I say to impress?" Or, "How can I stand out in this moment?" That's the wrong question. The better question is, "How can I make this person feel valued?" When you do that, something magical happens. The spotlight you give away returns to you in a deeper, more lasting way. People will appreciate your presence not because you tried to shine, but because you helped them shine. Ask questions, not to fill space, but to understand. Learn how to listen with your eyes as much as your ears. When someone speaks, don't just wait to reply, tune in. Nod, respond, lean in. Reflect their words back. Let them feel that their thoughts matter. Be curious about their journey, their values, their goals. Every person you meet knows something you don't. Every person has a story you haven't heard. When you stay curious, you become wiser and more magnetic. This isn't a tactic, it's a transformation. Being genuinely interested in others comes from a mindset rooted in humility and empathy. It means recognizing that the world doesn't revolve around you, and that real strength lies in lifting others up, not standing above them. It also means letting go of ego. You don't always have to be the one speaking, leading, or teaching. Sometimes the most powerful role you can play is that of the listener. People will often tell you exactly who they are if you give them the space and safety to do so. But most of the time, they won't do that unless they sense your interest is real. That's why authenticity matters. Don't fake your curiosity, develop it. Train yourself to care. It starts by slowing down, by asking, how is this person feeling right now? Or, what matters most to them? That kind of thoughtfulness separates you from the crowd. In business, this mindset builds trust. In friendships, it builds loyalty. In leadership, it builds influence. Why? Because when people feel understood, they let their guard down. They become open to your ideas, your guidance, your presence. You can't inspire or lead people if they feel invisible to you. But when they know you truly see them, something shifts. A bond forms, and that bond becomes the foundation for respect and cooperation. Remember people's names. Follow up on things they told you. Celebrate their wins, even the small ones. Empathy lives in the details. When you recall what someone said weeks ago and bring it up again, you show them they were worth remembering. That small gesture can mean more than hours of conversation. It tells people, you're not just background noise in my world, you matter. You don't need charm, wealth, or advanced education to master this. All you need is the willingness to care. The willingness to step outside your own world and enter someone else's even for a few minutes. When you do that consistently, you'll begin to see a shift, not just in how others respond to you, but in how you feel about yourself. Because there's no greater fulfillment than knowing you lifted someone else by simply being present. A pleasing personality is not built in isolation. It is formed in how you treat people, how you make them feel, and how often you choose to value them without expecting anything in return. Be the person who listens. Be the person who notices. Be the person who cares. That, more than anything, will set you apart.